Hi, I'm James and welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at Twilight 2000 supplement. We're looking at Machine Guns of Europe and North America for the 4th edition Twilight 2000, written by Geo Thorsveen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's the Centerfire Supplement Series Volume 2 and it follows on from the Rifles one that we've got. So it's, let's get it straight, 27 pages long, and it does what it says on the tin. It gives an introduction about the rules, then breaks the weapons down. So we have light machine guns, and there are some quite nice ones in there. I particularly like the fact that you've got things like the not just the Mini-Me, but you've got the Mini-Me Para. So that's in there. You've got the HK 2123 series, the L85A1 LSW with a note for the A2. Could possibly be really picky and point out that that was always issued with the SUSAT site. It was very rare for that to be issued with without it because of issues, I believe, with the Zero. There's half a page on the SA80 program. And you get a bonus mark on this one off me for mentioning the L98 cadet rifle. So it was nice to see that in there. You've got Russian weapons like the RPD, the RPK. Very nice that he differentiates between disintegrating and non-disintegrating belt feeds when you start looking at things like that. You've got probably one of my favourite weapons that nobody's ever heard of, the Stoner 63 Commando. If you're a Morrow Project fan, you'll understand why that was so popular with me. And I actually got my hands on one of those a few years ago. I was very impressed by it. Describes the difference between a machine gun and a rifle, which is useful if you're not a weapons buff. You've then got the section on general purpose machine guns. It's nice to see the FN mag actually referred to as the FN mag rather than the M240, although to me it's always going to be the Jimpy. Does talk about some of the different variations of it. That's in there. The French AA52, the M60, and it does even include the M60E3 that was trialled by the US Marine Corps. Bit of a discussion on the MG42 leading into the MG3, the PKM, the VZ69. We then move into the heavy machine guns like the DSHK and the KPV. There's some odd weapons in there as well, like the M134 minigun. You've got the NSV, that's always a good one. You've got a discussion on the XM214 microgun, and there's a lot of sort of information on that. There's a full page to that. I know the M214 was always popular in early editions of the game, but it discussed what sort of how it could be used. And yeah, I'm afraid you can't do the Predator bit and carry it around handheld, not without a couple of other people walking behind carrying kit. Gives an explanation then as to what the statistics mean. A nice consolidated couple of weapon charts, that's always nice. Some new and updated equipment covering things like anti-aircraft tripods, bipods, special discussion on the DSHKM carriage, heavy tripods, night vision sights, optical sights and tripods and pintle mounts, covers all of those. There's some new rules. There's an incapacitation rule for being hit by a really heavy round, and just to expand on what was actually covered in the original rules, rather than just firing from the hip having a -2 or a -3 modifier depending if it was an LMG or a GPMG, it's differentiated into different weapons and how each one's affected. There's a discussion as well as to whether you should use strength or agility for the firing. I know that was just been a discussion even back to the alpha version. So there's a bit of a discussion and explaining the benefits and cons of both, which is a nice touch. There's a new rule for recoil as well, and at the end a very, very useful chart listing which country uses which weapon, and differentiating if some of them are used only by special forces. So for example, it mentions that Sweden uses as a light machine gun the FN Mini-Me, calling it the KSP 90. the FN Mag as the general purpose machine gun, called the KSP 58, and the heavy machine gun being the M2HB, the KSP 88. So have a quick look at the UK and just see, yep, the L86A1 LSW, the FN Mag, the L7A2 in other words, and the M2HB as the L2A1. So very quick review. Yeah, you don't need it for the game, but there's a lot of nice information there. Even if you don't use the new rules, the weapon stats are worth it for themselves. So you can pick it up off DriveThruRPG. I will put a link in the description, and hopefully that's been useful for you. And I'm looking forward to seeing more in the series. See you soon for another review.